The moment that just aired on Survivor 50 episode 2 has the entire internet losing its mind right now, and once I break down exactly what happened and why it happened, you're never going to look at this cast the same way again. So here is what we are getting into today. We are breaking down the blindside that nobody predicted. We are exposing the cracks that were hiding in plain sight since day one. And we are talking about what this vote means for the rest of the season, because trust me, the fallout from this is going to ripple all the way to finale night. If you leave before the end of this video, you are going to miss the one detail that changes everything you thought you knew about this season's power structure. If you are new here, welcome to the channel where we break down every episode of Survivor harder than the players break down each other at Tribal. Make sure you stick around because we go deep. Alright, so let us set the scene because the context here is everything. Going into episode 2 of Survivor 50, we already had a pretty clear picture of who was playing hard and who was playing scared. B-roll cue. Episode 1 camp footage and alliance conversations. The dominant alliance coming out of the premiere looked solid. Like, annoyingly solid. The kind of solid that makes great television feel impossible because when alliances hold, nothing interesting happens. But here is the thing about Survivor 50 that I want you to keep in mind as we go through all of this. This cast was specifically recruited and selected to make historic television. These are not passive players. These are people who came here to move. And oh, did they move? Now, before I get into the actual vote breakdown, I need to tell you something about what was happening at camp the day before Tribal that the edit kind of buried. But once you know it, the whole blindside makes complete sense. And honestly, this detail made my jaw drop when I caught it on the second watch. The vibe at camp was deceptively calm on the surface. The majority alliance was feeling comfortable, maybe a little too comfortable, and that is always the beginning of the end in this game. On-screen text suggestion: comfort equals danger in Survivor. The target everyone assumed was going home had been laying low, not making waves, not scrambling, which is exactly what made them so dangerous. Because while the majority was busy congratulating themselves, this person was having quiet one-on-one conversations that nobody was tracking. Nobody except one player. And that one player is now sitting in a position of serious power that this game has not fully recognized yet. Let us talk about the actual tribal council because this is where it gets absolutely unhinged. The majority walked into tribal with what they believed was a 6-person lock. 6 votes pointed at one person. Clean, easy, boring. Except tribal council is never clean, easy, or boring on Survivor 50. B-roll cue. Tribal council fire and torches. Within the first 5 minutes of Jeff asking questions, you could feel something shifting. There were looks. There were pauses that lasted just a half second too long. There was one answer that somebody gave that you could tell landed wrong with at least 2 people in that alliance, and those 2 people clocked it in real time. The body language alone was telling a completely different story than the words coming out of people's mouths. And here is the moment. Here is the moment that is going to live in Survivor history. When the votes came out and the name on those parchments was not who everyone expected, the look on the faces sitting on those benches was not just shock. It was the specific kind of shock that comes from realizing you were not just voted out, you were played. Completely and systematically played by someone you trusted. On-screen text suggestion: the trust was fake the whole time. That feeling is what makes great Survivor, and this episode delivered it at a level we have not seen in a long time. Now I know what some of you are thinking, and yes, we're going to get into the immunity challenge too because it actually matters more than people are giving it credit for. B-roll cue. Immunity challenge footage. The outcome of that challenge directly forced the conversation that led to this vote, and without it, none of this happens the way it did. The person who won immunity essentially became an accidental architect of this blindside without even knowing it, which is the most Survivor thing that has ever happened. Okay, we are at the halfway point, and I need you to stay locked in because what I am about to break down about the next episode is something that the casual viewer is going to completely miss, and I refuse to let that happen to you. Here are my actual hot takes on all of this. First, the person sitting at the bottom of the majority alliance right now is playing the best social game on the entire cast, and nobody is saying it. I am saying it. I am planting the flag right now. Second, The player who orchestrated this blindside overplayed by about 15%. They got the result they wanted, but they exposed their strategic hand earlier than they needed to, and the remaining alliance members are not as oblivious as the edit is making them look. And third, and this is the one that is going to get me some comments, I actually think the person who got voted out made one single mistake, and if they had just done one thing differently at camp, they are still in this game. Drop in the comments whether you think they could have survived this, or whether they were always going home the second they landed on that beach. I genuinely want to know what you all think, because I have seen takes on both sides and neither camp is fully right. The prediction I am most confident in right now is that the next 2 episodes are going to completely reorganize the power structure in a way that makes this blindside look like a warm-up. There is a player who has barely been shown in the edit who I think is about to become the most important person in this game. The quiet ones always eat in the end. So to recap, Episode 2 of Survivor 50 delivered the kind of blindside that reminds you why this show has survived 50 seasons. The majority got too comfortable, the numbers flipped in the last possible moment, and somebody's torch just got snuffed in a way that nobody saw coming. The game is wide open now, and honestly, it is just getting started. Next episode, I'm going to be breaking down something that was teased in the preview that has massive implications for a specific player's game, and once you hear my theory, you are not going to be able to unsee it. You do not want to miss that one. If this breakdown hit for you, leave a like, because it genuinely helps the channel more than you know. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss an episode breakdown. We are here every single week, going deeper than anyone else. See you in the next one. Top 5 SEO tags. Survivor 50. Survivor Season 50 Episode 2. Survivor 50 Blindside. Survivor 2025 Recap. Survivor Episode 2 Tribal Council Video Description. Survivor 50 Episode 2 just changed the entire season in one tribal council, and we are breaking it all down. The blindside nobody saw coming, the cracks hiding in the majority alliance since day one, and the one player who is quietly positioning themselves to run this entire game. We go deeper than the episode, deeper than the edit, and straight into the strategic layer that casual viewers are completely missing. This is the breakdown you need before episode 3 drops. Watch until the end, because there is a prediction about next episode that is going to blow your mind. New Survivor breakdowns every week, so subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss one. Thumbnail Concept 1. A dramatic split screen of the voted out player's shocked face on one side and the player who orchestrated the blindside smirking on the other, with bold red text that reads "Nobody saw this coming" across the bottom. Thumbnail Concept 2. A close-up of the vote parchment with a name written on it but blurred just enough to create curiosity, with text overlay reading "Episode 2 Blindside changes everything" and a shocked face reaction in the corner. Thumbnail Concept 3. The full tribal council fire in the background with a single snuffed torch in the foreground and text reading "Survivor 50 is not playing games" in large high-contrast letters. YouTube Shorts hook. Nobody saw it coming. Not the players, not the fans, not anyone. Survivor 50 Episode 2 just dropped the first blindside of the season, and it was not the person everyone thought was going home. The majority alliance had 6 votes locked in. 6. And somehow, it still flipped on them. I am going to show you the exact moment. You can see it happening in real time if you know what to look for, because the body language at Tribal told the whole story before a single vote was read. This season just became appointment television, and we are only 2 episodes in.